Hello film fans, and welcome to this episode of the Sherlockian. Prehistoric Planet is released today, hooray! So here's my review of the very first episode. Now I should warn you that there will be some spoilers in this because it's impossible to review anything without talking about the content, but I think it's fairly spoiler free, but obviously you have been warned, so it's probably best to watch the episode first and then come watch this video. But what did I think of it? Well, to put it shortly, I thought it was pretty great. It's basically just like a modern BBC documentary, but set in the past. So, what did I think of it? Well, there were three things in particular I really enjoyed in this particular episode. This episode's on coasts, and basically mostly set in the sea, but there are a few bits set on the coast as well. And there were three things that stood out for me: Nessie, Mosasaurs, and baby T-Rexes. So first of all then, Nessie. I mean, I should point out first of all that technically speaking it's Tyrannosaurus, a type of marine plesiosaur, and not actually the Loch Ness Monster. But I get the feeling that the visual effects department really enjoyed some little sort of Nessie flourishes to some of the animation. For example, there is an awful lot of plesiosaurs coming up to breathe with those really long necks and going ooh, and then come back down again. And obviously, I'm sure plesiosaurs breathe like that. I mean, modern dolphins do, so I see no reason to see why they wouldn't as well. But nevertheless, it did resemble quite a lot the famous shot of Nessie, which has now turned out to be a fake, of its head out the water like that, as you see all the time, you know, in Scottish tourist offices. Indeed, there's even a bit where the Tyrannosaurus display to each other, and they bring their necks right out the water like this, and show off to each other. And again, I'm pretty sure that was a little pastiche to the Loch Ness Monster. But obviously, it's based on scientific fact, not on, you know, Scottish tourism. So there are lots of bits that I really enjoyed where they talk about the biology of these creatures. Now, obviously, as I mention all the time in these videos, we can't be exactly sure what marine plesiosaurs actually behave like, but we can extrapolate a lot from scientific data that we do have. And I think, by and large, the evidence they extrapolated was pretty accurate to what did happen. Obviously, I'm not an expert, but it seemed to match up. So there's some brilliant scenes of them working together to chase off a mosasaur that's attacking them, which I really enjoyed. Obviously, it's the kind of thing that we would expect to see from modern dolphins, and I see no reason to believe that it wouldn't have been something that plesiosaurs would have done as well. Also, we see a baby plesiosaur being born. That's actually something that we have in the fossil record. Actually, a plesiosaur being born right in that moment, which is really cool. And it's absolutely beautifully animated. I mean, it looks absolutely brilliant. I could well believe that they'd actually, you know, filmed it for real. It's that good. Maybe the Scottish Tourist Office should actually get them to fake some evidence up for Nessie. I mean, they might draw in some more visitors to Loch Ness. But apart from the plesiosaurs, the bit I probably enjoyed most was the mosasaur. This is absolutely brilliant, and it shows you several different types. It shows you one called Kai which attacks the plesiosaurs, and then it also shows you Hoffman's mosasaur, which I think I'm right in saying is the biggest one they've discovered so far. And that's probably the best bit with mosasaurs. And there's also another bit of the mosasaurs I'll mention in a bit. But I think my favourite part was when it's got the Hoffman's mosasaur, and it comes up, and you think it's just about to eat this little fish, and you think, oh no, it's toast. And then the fish starts to clean its teeth, which is absolutely brilliant. And of course, exactly the kind of thing that I would expect that definitely happened in the past. And then it's got this beautiful shot of the mosasaur with its head out of the water. I mentioned in my trailer review that often visual effects, which by and large are pretty stellar nowadays, do seem to find it difficult when they have to interact with things like water, where the light has to refract off the water surface. But that looks absolutely brilliant again. And as this lovely shot of it sunbathing while it's being cleaned with its head out the water so it can breathe. And then it's suddenly attacked by another mosasaur, and they have this big fight. Who wins? Well, I'm not going to tell you because that would be spoilers. But it's absolutely beautiful and really cool. And I particularly like the idea that it shows you that the fight is almost based not on who's biggest, but who gets the first breath. If one can get a breath over the other, because obviously they're air-breathing animals, they can't breathe underwater like modern sharks, then whoever gets the breath first is bound to win. And I really like that. It's sort of interesting, because obviously something we wouldn't really see nowadays so much because we don't have big marine reptiles. And then obviously the bit that we definitely knew would be in this episode, well, pretty certain anyway, was the baby T-Rexes, because it showed you an extended trailer with them in. And that bit, you know, it didn't really show you anything particularly different to what it showed you in the little sneak peek they gave you, but it was very good. It shows you the little baby T-Rexes running around chasing turtles, and obviously the bit with the T-Rex swimming in the water, which is really cool. Actually, after I made my trailer video, I actually thought, I wonder if they got that idea from the bit in Planet Earth 2 where that sloth is swimming between mangrove islands. I'm pretty sure it might well have been. And it certainly is the same kind of thing, isn't it? The sort of incongruous look at an animal that you're fairly familiar with. But the best bit in that scene is when a Mosasaur starts to hunt the baby T-Rexes, because obviously the adult in the water is less able to defend them. And it actually, well, I'm not going to tell you if any of them get eaten or not, but it's very cool, because obviously you don't really think of T-Rexes ever getting preyed on by anything, but in that environment, they're actually, you know, at a disadvantage. The other thing that really stood out for me was the score. I mean, it's done by Hans Zimmer, and it's absolutely fantastic. He has done scores for several other different nature documentaries. It's not his first rodeo by any means, but it's absolutely amazing. It really gives this sort of magnificent swelling crescendo, and it really matches the animation that you see on screen. So thumbs up for him. Not that he needs them from me, but they're absolutely amazing. It's some of, you know, the best work I've seen him do. So that's really, really cool. So yeah, that was my very quick review of first episode of Prehistoric Planet. Thank you very much for watching. My Prehistoric Planet video has, by my own very small standards, been very successful, so thank you everyone who's watched that. And thank you very much for your comments as well. They're greatly appreciated. Most of you are much more dinosaur experts than I am, but I really appreciated your feedback, so thank you very much. Anyway, that was the Sherlockian. Thanks very much for watching, film fans, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.